Hello, my fellow nerds. It's me, Mikazi, coming at you with, for the first time, a real talk about a Nintendo Direct. Now, I don't typically do like reactionary content and stuff towards like events and things like that. But the reason I wanted to do this is just because I feel like the Nintendo Direct that we just got on September 12th was massive. This was an hour-long direct where you could tell this was Nintendo's last chance to prove to Switch 2 owners that them buying a Switch 2 was not only worth it, but that there's a lot of good stuff coming up in the near future, while also trying to convince Nintendo Switch 1 users to upgrade to the 2. That's my personal opinion. That was the whole purpose of this, while also telling us how they're celebrating the Mario 40th. Now, I wanted to go line by line through this one and do a real talk for it because honestly, this was very divisive, I feel like. I think a lot of people online are saying that it was a terrible direct. Some people are saying it was okay. Most people are saying that it was okay to mid. There's a few people that are saying they liked it, depending on one or two of the announcements. And so I just wanted to go over it here today with you guys and just kind of go over my thoughts line by line through the direct. So I'm going to have it on screen right here in front of me. And I'm going to watch it and do some commentary. And hopefully, if I can figure out how to edit it properly, I can get it so the video is playing somewhere on this screen. Hopefully in this part over here, there. Hopefully right here I can see if I can get the video working. I'm also pointing from my own point of view. But yeah, so I just wanted to go over really quickly through this direct and go line by line because I feel like a lot of people who go over these things, they say they go line by line, but they don't really comment on everything. And I wanted to get some real commentary on a lot of stuff because I have a lot to say about everything they announced. Honestly, there isn't a single announcement I can think of that I don't have like at least something to say. Okay, so the direct starts off with the Super Mario Bros. 40th anniversary, which, you know, was kind of to be expected because the anniversary is, as of recording this video today, I think September 13th. And they start going through, you know, a montage and artwork and all this stuff, and it's really cool. You know, they show off the park, and then they go into the first big announcement of the direct, which is the Super Mario Galaxy movie, which personally I think is super cool. I'm so excited. The first movie was awesome. I can't wait for a second one. I do hope that they continue to make Super Mario movies as long as they don't get a little bit too childish or too like, you know, I don't know, crappy, I guess. But so far they did a great job on the first one. And I really hope that the second one, you know, is really good. They said it's coming out in spring, which I feel like is really soon. But then when they brought the Illumination guy on, he said there will be more information to come. So I'm assuming there's going to be some kind of another announcement or something coming up soon. Maybe a first trailer coming up maybe in the fall or early winter. Because if it's coming out in the spring, this more information really has to get out there. So we'll see what they end up saying. But yeah, so they talked about that. And I'm kind of skipping through. And then they got to their kind of first real game announcement, which was Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 on the Nintendo Switch. Now, for those of you who don't remember, for the Mario 35th anniversary, they released a triple pack of Mario 64, Sunshine, and Galaxy, but it was a limited time thing. This time it's not going to be limited, but still it's like you already released Galaxy already. Why are you doing it again? You know, it would have been fine if they just did 2. You know what I mean? They probably should have just done 2. And honestly, you know, hindsight's 2020, but they should have just never discontinued the other 3 in the first place. But I believe the N64 and the GameCube ones you can, or you will be able to soon play them on the NSO app. So maybe that's why they're doing the Wii, because they have no intention of doing Wii games. I was kind of hoping they would, because I feel like Wii would translate very easily to Switch. I don't know why they're doing GameCube, and then now you're going to see in a couple minutes they announce another thing coming to NSO. But yeah, so Galaxy 1 and 2, it's coming in a double pack. It has a little bit of extra content with some kind of storybook thing. I never played Galaxy 1 and 2 too much to know what they're talking about, but I would say that they added a smidgen, a little bit of more stuff. And then came the price tag. And I will say they didn't announce this in the direct, but I'm going to look it up for you guys. Yeah, I just wanted to look it up real quick because I want people to, you know, get all the information. These will be coming out October 2nd, and the double pack will be $70. $70 for 2 bare bones ports is insane. I think, if I remember correctly, when the triple pack came out 5 years ago, I think that was $60 for 3 games, if memory serves me correctly. I understand they're going to say market conditions and all this bullshit, but I'll be honest with you, I'm kind of tired of hearing that garbage. I'll be honest with you, I'm tired of hearing every company say market conditions this, prices have to go up for this reason, when we all know it's just, you know, definitely part of the tariff thing, but when you're releasing a digital product, how are you justifying that being affected by this? You know what I mean? That just doesn't make any sense to me. But they are releasing it physically in a double pack as well, so that is what I would expect to be a little bit more expensive, but they're not even doing that. They're not splitting the cost. It's just no matter what, if you buy them together, they're $70. You can buy them individually, so for those of us like myself who already have Galaxy on the Switch, if you just want Galaxy 2, that will also cost you $40 whole. $40 is an insane amount for one old Wii game like that, especially considering you can still find Galaxy and Galaxy 2 easily in any retro game store for like, I think 10, 15, or $20 a piece. Nintendo's always kind of done really crappy things with their ports. This thing should have been a $40 game. Like, I'm sorry, this should have been a $40 double pack or $20 each, and that would have been a home run. They also announced that they're coming out with 2 Galaxy-themed amiibos, which both look honestly really cool. They come out April 2nd. I also think these are like $30 or $40 a piece, so they're pretty pricey. The amiibos have gone up, which again makes sense because they're physical items, so if they are affected by market conditions like tariffs and stuff, then yeah, I expect those to go up a little bit. Yeah, so that's a little bit on the frustrating side, I will say. The next thing they announced was actually a physical book of this Storytime book that's inside Mario Galaxy, which I think is really cute. I think I just looked it up too. I think it's only like $25 for this book. That's a cool little book, you know, especially if you have kids and stuff and you want to read it to them. I think that's a really cool little thing. The next thing they announced was another Mario Tennis game, and I gotta say, I was not the biggest fan of Tennis Aces. I just wasn't. I don't know what it was about that game. I think it was just a little bit too contingent on you have to get your special, and then once you get your special, it's impossible to block it. This game does look a lot better, I will say. They've got a lot more abilities. They've got this new tennis racket thing that they're going with, where each racket has its own ability, and they also have a whole story mode, which hopefully, it did sound kind of like the story mode was going to be like Mario Golf was, where it kind of is just like a very long tutorial, but I'm hoping that's not the case and that's an actual like story mode that is fun. Because the Mario Golf one was just not that much fun, if I'm being honest with you. After Mario Tennis Fever, and I will say there was a bunch of game modes too, and Mario Tennis Fever, it looks cool. I will admit, once they started going through some of the Mario Wonder themed stuff, I was like, okay, this is pretty neat. So maybe I will pick up this game. Unfortunately, I have a bad feeling it'll be $70 or $80, and I just don't know if it's worth that. The next thing they announced is the Mario Wonder Flower. They made a physical version of it that talks to you. And also, they also said there's a Super Mario Bros. Wonder Nintendo Switch 2 edition, which they did say has a little bit of bonus content. Now, if you've never played Super Mario Bros. Wonder, this is probably a good pickup for you. But if you've played it, I think you could probably just get the DLC by itself off the eShop. I'm assuming, but my assumption also is that it's probably going to be a $20 DLC. So let me look it up real quick. Okay, so I tried looking it up a little bit, and it didn't really seem like they released a price tag on it yet. But yeah, hopefully Bello Bell Park will come out by itself and be only $10. I have a bad feeling it'll be a $20 DLC, and that kind of sucks. I'm not going to lie. If it's $10, I'll get it on the eShop and play it and have fun with it. If it's $20, I'll probably just end up skipping it, if I'm being honest with you. It adds more of like party game elements to it, where you're playing with friends doing different things, and none of them look very complicated or very like strategic, but it does look like fun. So I hope that you can buy it separately, and then I will pick it up. Then after that is when they announced the physical flower, which is cute, and I think, honestly, that comes out, let me see if it has a release date. So the Mario Wonder thing comes out in the spring, and then the flower comes out also in the spring. And I'll be honest with you, I might buy the flower because it could look pretty good back here on one of these shelves. Honestly, I think that's a really cute idea, and I wish Nintendo would do a little bit more stuff like this. But then the last thing for the Mario Brothers 40th that they announced was a new Yoshi game, which kind of doesn't make sense to include it as a Mario 40th anniversary title because it doesn't have Mario in it. But, I mean, Yoshi is a big part of the Mario franchise, so I think they just kind of lumped it in to give it a little bit more hype. It kind of looks like a little kid's game, kind of like the last one that came out, the last Yoshi game. But I will say it is cute, and it's got a cute premise, like jumping into the book and discovering stuff with Yoshi. I think that'd be a great game for kids. It might be more challenging than we think, and then, we'll see. Again, it just depends on price. It really does. And this one I don't think has a price tag yet. If this Yoshi game is $50-$60, then I can justify getting it, or maybe waiting until like there's someone selling it secondhand, and that would be fine. But if this is like a $70 game, then Nintendo, you're you're out of your damn mind, you know? After that is when they finally dove into the real direct. That was about 20 minutes into the hour-long direct that they just did the Mario 40th. And I will say overall, the Mario 40th, I'm glad they didn't make that its own separate direct event, because then it would have been very disappointing. I think it was perfect that they did it in like a big direct. And the first game they announced is a game called Storm Lancers. This game kind of looks interesting. I think it's definitely multiplayer, couch co-op, which is awesome. The little indie title, at least I think it's couch co-op. It looks couch co-op. It kind of reminds me of like a No More Heroes kind of 2D scroller game. I believe, if memory serves me correctly, this does have roguelike elements to it. This is one that I think I'll play. I think I'll pick this up. I think I'll play it at some point, obviously, if it gets a physical. And I think, if I remember correctly, this might be out now. Yeah, so it is available later today is what it said. So it is out now. Storm Lancers. Let me see how much that one is priced at. So this one is a $20 game. $20 Storm Lancers roguelike action game. That one looks pretty good. Honestly, if it comes out physically, with my luck, it'll probably be like a super rare game or a limited run, but it would be pretty cool. The next game they announced is a game called Dinkum, which I swear I've heard of this game before somewhere. I don't think this is new, but it's kind of like a like world building Australian outback themed game. It looks kind of interesting. It's available November 5th. I don't think I'll pick this one up. I'll be honest with you, I'm kind of just done with all these like world building style games. I think it's a mechanic that too many game designers are using these days, and it's a good way to make a game last longer, but I'm not really in it right now for longer games. I'm kind of trying to play more shorter games these days, so I'll probably pass on Dinkum, but it does look cute, and if you're looking for something, world buildy where, it's more Australian themed, then it's perfect for you. After that, they announced the next game, which was Popucom, I think is what it's called. Yeah. Now, this says available holiday 2025. So I'm assuming it's going to probably come out in like December. But this is not the first time we've seen this game. I'm pretty positive we saw this game in like a PlayStation Direct at some point, because I remember seeing it being like, oh, this looks really cool. And it's co-op. It kind of has Splatoon-ish like vibes to it with the whole color matching and stuff. But it just looks like a nice, fun co-op time. So that one will definitely be one that I'll probably pick up for me and Erica. I don't think I'll pick it up on Switch. I'll most likely probably pick that one up on PS5 when it comes out. After that, they gave more information about Tomodachi Life and kind of explained the game a little bit more. It's definitely like Nintendo's version of The Sims, is from what I understand, but people love this game on the DS or 3DS, and so a lot of people are excited for this one. It comes out in 2026. This is definitely not the type of game for me. Maybe when they announce more about it, if it has more like kind of interactions with the friends or something, maybe it'll be worth getting. I don't know. People love this game on the 3DS, so it's got to have something that makes it so popular. For me, though, this one will most likely be a skip. But if you like Tomodachi Life, let me know down in the comments below and tell me why exactly you like Tomodachi Life, because right now it just kind of looks like a funny spoof on The Sims with Mii characters, so you have more opportunity to build your own Miis up and stuff. After that, they kind of went through a little bit of a sizzle reel. They did Mortal Kombat collections coming to the Switch. They announced Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade coming in January 22nd, 2026. That's something we've been waiting for a while. I'm surprised they didn't put a little more emphasis on that, if I'm being completely honest with you, because it felt like it was supposed to be a big deal that, oh, Final Fantasy VII is coming, the remake, but then they just kind of threw it in a sizzle reel and was like, yep, coming in January, here you go. Next up was a game called Linked Banner of the Spark. This one also weirdly looks familiar, like I've seen it before, but I can't remember where I've seen it. It almost looks like a Kickstarter game, but this one also has some like world building aspects to it, like town building elements. Kind of gives me like roguelike Hades vibes, with also mixed in with, your typical Harvest Moon or Animal Crossing cooking and crafting and farming and stuff like that. So again, another kind of farming sim style game. Not really what I'm looking for these days. It does look cool though, and it is available right now. The digital version is out. Let me see how much it is. So according to this, Linked Banner of the Spark on Steam is $25. That kind of looks right. This does kind of look like a $25 game, so I think they priced it pretty well. It says there's a Switch and Switch 2 digital versions out now. After that, they went through Hades 2, which was a little bit of a surprise because this game's been in like a beta for a while now with no release date in sight, and then they just dropped this really cool trailer, and gave it a release date. And it's coming out this month, September, I think 25th is what it said. Yeah, September 25th is when it's coming out. I don't know how much this one is. Let's take a look. How much is Hades? According to this, Hades 2 will be $30 on the Nintendo Switch, which I think is pretty cheap for this game. Are you sure it's only $30? From Nintendo's own website, it says that it is a $30 pre-order. Yeah, digitally. That's actually amazing. I'm going to be honest with you. That's really well priced. I would have sworn that would have been a $40, $50 game. So the fact that that's only $30, that's a really, really good deal on that one. After that, they announced some new amiibos for Kirby Air Riders. Now, these are sick amiibos, dude. Not only can you save your characters on it and I think race against them, you can actually remove the character off of the base so that you could switch what they're riding. That, I don't think there's other amiibos that do that. I heard somewhere that the Monster Hunter ones also allow you to do that, but I wasn't too sure about that one. But yeah, they said more Kirby amiibos will be coming soon too. So I have a feeling they're going to make a big lineup of Kirby Air Rider amiibos. I'm very surprised how much Nintendo is investing in Kirby Air Riders, if I'm being completely honest with you. They don't even have Mario Kart amiibos, like at all. There's not a single Mario Kart amiibo, but they're going all in with the Kirby ones. After that, they went through the new Zelda game, Zelda Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment, which is going to be available November 6th. Okay, so according to Nintendo's own eShop, Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment for Nintendo Switch 2 is going to be $70. That is an insane price for a Warriors game. I don't remember how much the first one was back in the day. I'm pretty sure it was a $50 game. This should also be a $50 game. I'm tired of hearing this bullshit with the tariffs and the market conditions. Like, you need to stop jacking up your prices. Again, if you're really going to sit there and blame market conditions and tariffs specifically, which they don't say the word tariff, but we know what they mean, then physical, I can understand going up in price. Digital should not be taking a hit like this. $70 for a Hyrule Warriors game, that shit is not going to sell very well because of that. After that, they announced a new Dragon Quest game. Well, kind of new. It's more of like a reimagining of Dragon Quest VII, which I remember before this, there was rumors that the number 7 was going to be important, and they've already announced Final Fantasy VII, and then now this, available February 5th, is going to be Dragon Quest VII. And for those wondering, according to Nintendo's eShop, Dragon Quest VII reimagined for the Nintendo Switch 2 will be $60. It is kind of a remake, because I think this is like a 2D game normally, and it's all in this like kind of weirdish, like chibi-air kind of art style and stuff. I guess that maybe is a fair price. I think it's a little, again, $10 maybe a little too expensive, but I think it's a fair enough price. I think that one's kind of worth it. After that, they kind of went over some themes for their app. And I will say, going back to the Dragon Quest thing, that is a cool looking game. And Dragon Quest is one of those series I would love to get into, but it's a little intimidating considering there's so many of them now. But if they keep remaking them, then I will definitely start getting them from the ground up, because I know they remade 3. They're working on 1 and 2. And then, I don't even know. Yeah, so they just have to do 4, 5, 6. They've already got 7 here. I think, if I remember correctly, I think 9 and 10 and 11 are already on the Switch. So, they're getting all of them on there. Which I appreciate. After that, they announced a new thing for their Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack, which I do have, and I am weirdly excited for this because they announced the Virtual Boy coming out February 17th of next year, and not only all of the Virtual Boy games, being that there's only 15, are going to come to the service, they're actually going to release a physical Virtual Boy that you put your Nintendo Switch into, as well as a cardboard version of it, kind of like the cardboard version of the Labo, is that you can also, again, put your Nintendo Switch, I'm assuming 2 into. I don't think it's for the 1. I actually don't know if you could put your 1 and 2 in these. That's a good question. I don't know if they answered. But the cool thing about Virtual Boy is it's a system lost to time. It's very expensive to get one. It's very hard to get the games and everything for it. So for them to just kind of bring it from the graveyard and just be like, here it is, we're going to release every game for it over time, and you can now play it. That is really cool to me. That is honestly one of the coolest things about this Direct is that release. And I think the Labo itself is going to be like $100, which kind of makes sense. It is a giant piece of plastic. And then the cardboard one, I don't know if they released the price of the cardboard one. Let me see. So the cardboard model is only $25. That is really good. Honestly, if they had made that $30 or less, I was going to be happy with it. Anything more than 30, I was going to be like, come on, Nintendo, it's cardboard. Give me a fucking break here. And you never know. Maybe what I'll do is when it comes out, maybe I'll try it first in the Labo that I have and see if it works there. Because if it works there, then I won't even need the Virtual Boy one. I have a feeling it's going to work in the Labo one. I just don't think the Labo one can fit the Switch 2 in it is the problem. So this one might be a little bit bigger. But yeah, I'm really excited for that. I think that was a super cool announcement. After that, they announced the Crimson Butterfly Soars again. This is Fatal Frame 2, I think, if I remember correctly. Yeah, Fatal Frame 2 Crimson Butterfly Remake, which, hold on, I fast forward a little too fast. When is the release date for this guy? This game looks pretty good. I've never played a Fatal Frame game before. I think those are kind of hard to find. It says available early 2026. I think those are kind of hard to find games, if I'm not mistaken. I think those are kind of cult classics, so to find them on their original systems is a little tough. So them, remaking them, putting them on the Switch, that's a good one. Again, hopefully they're not too expensive. After that, they did another sizzle reel for Nintendo Switch 2 specific stuff. Yeah, they announced One Piece Pirate Warriors coming in fall 2025, where they said you can have more on-screen enemies because, again, the system can handle the game better. It can handle Warriors games better. And so be prepared to see a lot of Warriors games. Overcooked 2 Nintendo Switch 2 Edition coming holiday 2025. This is a great game, and hopefully it's not too expensive because Overcooked 2 is not really an expensive game, and all this is really adding, I'm assuming, is, it's going to run better because the first one does not run very well on the Nintendo Switch, but hopefully it runs better, and then also they added camera, so you can actually see when your friends are messing up, you can see their faces and yell at them. After that, they said Stardew Valley in fall 2025 is getting mouse controls, which I'm going to assume that's a good thing for Stardew Valley. I think it was originally a computer game, so having mouse controls is pretty handy probably. I think it also just works perfectly fine with the controller. So it also has game share, which is really cool that this game share thing I'm liking because now you could buy the game and then share it with up to 4 people. So only one person has to buy the game. Human Fall Flat Nintendo Switch 2 Edition also coming in spring of 2026. It says new levels, mouse controls, and then I think the last one in this sizzle reel was Power Wash Simulator 2. This one has co-op and I believe also might have game share. Yeah, I think so. Available fall of 2025. So that's coming out really soon. I'm surprised I didn't just get a date, if I'm being honest with you. After that, they announced a new Suika game. This time it's called Suika Planet, I think. This one has game share for sure. And I'm trying to... Yeah, Suika Game Planet, available this winter on Switch and Switch 2. And it has game share. So only one person has to buy it and you could share it. And it's a new way to play the Suika game, which a lot of people loved. I don't think it'll take off as much as the first one did, but, you never know. It might be cool, and it might get a lot of people to try and go get those high scores. After that was one of the most divisive announcements of this Direct, which was Metroid Prime 4's release date. But before they gave the release date, they gave us another look at it where they showed off Samus on a motorcycle, and for some reason they showed her in like a desert area, and it doesn't look very good, doesn't look very clean. So a lot of people are kind of worried about that, but the game is coming out soon, thankfully. Not soon enough, in my opinion. I think this really, really needed to be an October release, and unfortunately they pushed it into December. If I remember correctly, I think this game comes out December 2nd, 4th? Yeah, they announced Amiibos 2 coming November 6th and December 4th, and I think the game itself comes out December 4th. After that was my personal most angry moment. They announced DLC for Donkey Kong Bonanza, and it's a roguelike mode that you can only play if you've beaten the first game, according to the trailer. And then also they announced that you can go to DK's Island, which is kind of cool. Now, how much do you think this would be? They also have new outfits and stuff too. How much do you think this DLC should be? Because when I first saw this, I was like, this would be cool if it's a nice little $10 DLC that I can buy digitally. No, it is $20. That makes Donkey Kong officially a $90 game. Because remember, Donkey Kong was $70. So adding 20, this is a now $90 game. People were wondering why, Mario Kart was 80 and Donkey Kong Bonanza wasn't 80. This is why, because they had this DLC in their back pocket, and instead of just releasing the whole thing and making it 80, they gave us, oh, well, here's a $70 game. And then a month or two later, they're like, and $20 more, please, so that you can get this extra part. That's just ridiculous, man. I can't believe that they pulled this. And it sucks because it does kind of look like it would be fun, but I haven't even beaten the first game. I haven't beaten DK Bonanza yet, so I'm definitely not getting this Emerald Rush paid DLC, which is available right now if you want to go and get it. But again, remember, you can't even play the Emerald Rush, from what I understand, until you've beaten the game. So After that, they announced a new Pokemon game. They announced a couple Pokemon things, but the first one was this really cute, like Minecrafty kind of Animal Crossing Pokemon game, which I'm surprised they never did anything like this before. But you play as a Ditto who transforms into a human and can transform into use different abilities from different Pokemon you meet and find to build a world. And it's called Pokemon Pokopia, which I think is a stupid ass name, and they should have just called it either just Pokopia or just something else. I think Pokemon Pokopia is just too much. Available in 2026. I have a feeling this will be a summer game. Honestly, I think they're going to try and go for a summer release on this one. It might be a little later. We'll see. But it does look cool. At first I was like, man, this looks like the stupidest game ever. It's just Minecraft with Pokemon. But then as the trailer kept going and you kept seeing the abilities and what you can do, I was kind of like, you know what? This is actually kind of cute. And depending on the price, if this is like a $40 game or $50 game, I might get it on release. If it's more than that, then I'm going to wait and probably get it used. Because that's just my standard now. If the game is too expensive, I'm just going to start waiting until they get cheaper on the secondhand market. But it does look cute, and it does come out next year. And it kind of looks like when it zooms out at the end, it almost looks like a Pokemon game. Like it almost feels like you're just building your own town. Because it even has a Pokemon Center, which I think is pretty neat. After that, they went more into Pokemon ZA. They showed off a bunch more of the Mega Evolutions, which I don't know why they're doing that. They're literally showing off every fucking evolution in the game. Like, let us discover stuff, Nintendo. Jesus Christ, man. And then after that, they announced another thing, which was also very, very angering from a lot of people. They announced paid DLC for Pokemon ZA, a game that has not even come out yet, which I'm pretty sure is a $70 game, and you know this DLC is going to be $20. They announced Pokemon Legends Mega Dimension, which showed off an X and Y Raichu and this little ghost form who I actually don't know what Pokemon that is, but they look cool. It looks cool. And if you're going to do DLC, why don't you do what you do with all the other DLCs you've done for Pokemon? Announce it like 6 months later. Give people a chance to play the game and fall in love with it, and then release DLC. Why are you announcing DLC before the game's even out? Which, that's just pissing everyone off. So that one, this was the third time now for paid DLC from Nintendo, and I was just like over it at this point. This is about 54 minutes into the 60-minute direct, and they just almost completely lost me. Next up after that, they announced Danganronpa 2. It's actually called Danganronpa 2X2, and it's got like extra features and stuff. So if you're a Danganronpa fan, this is good for you. I mean, it looks like a beautiful game. I'm not big into the whole like mystery kind of games like this, so probably we'll skip it. I know Erica was looking at it with a little bit of like, maybe this could be fun. It could be like a Phoenix Wright kind of game, so she might get it. But I think that's gonna be a pass for me. Available 2026. Next up is Dynasty Warriors Origins. Now this game looks cool, and I'm not a big Dynasty Warriors fan because the games confuse me and I'm not good at them, but this one looks really cool. It kind of gives off Three Kingdoms vibes where you're kind of choosing between three different leaders to follow, and then based off of who you follow and who you help out, you'll get a different ending, I'm assuming, a different storyline. And that'll come out available January 22nd, 2026. So that's pretty cool. The next one was something that's already been announced, Monster Hunter Stories 3, Twisted Reflection. I don't think the full title was ever announced. So Twisted Reflection, I think, is new information. Just watching the gameplay, dude, this looks so cool. Honestly, people call Monster Hunter Stories just like a Pokemon Monster Hunter game, and even that alone sounds cool to me, but actually seeing the person in the game like traverse the world, switching between monsters, and just like, and also battling with them. It shows a battle at one point. Man, this game looks so cool, but it's available March 13th of next year, which means it probably has a price tag now that I'm thinking about it. Let's see how much that is. Yeah, they don't have a price tag yet, which is weird because it has a release date, and normally if it has a release date, it has a price tag because you can pre-order. But I'm not seeing it, so I'm hoping it's 60 or under. If it's more than 60, I'm going to be a little annoyed. But this game looks sick, man, and I'm super excited for this one. March 13th. Does that give me enough time to beat the first two? We'll see. I'm still trying to get through Hollow Knight, so we'll see. Yeah, so after that, they did a sizzle reel, and the first one they showed was 2 Point Museum, available October 28th. Pre-orders available today. They then announced, which this game I feel like has been announced like 1,000 times. They announced Disgaea 7 Complete. I thought every Disgaea game was already on the Switch. How many Disgaea games are on? Like how many exist? There's so many of them. I've never played one. They look really fun, but it's another franchise where I'm like, I don't have 5 billion hours to get into it. If you know down below, tell me, how many Disgaias are there? Are you excited for this release, for this remaster? And yeah, what's your favorite Disgaea game, I guess? After that was EA Sports FC 26, available September 26, 2025. And, I mean, it's a soccer game. Then they announced Dragon Quest 1 and 2 HD 2D Remake, available October 30th. I do definitely want to get this. I think I already have the Dragon Quest 3 game, so I got to play that and then play those. They have Virtual Fighter 5 coming out this winter, according to this, which can mean anything from December to February. Lego Voyagers coming out September 15th. This looked really interesting. I've never heard of this game, and it's just showing up in a sizzle reel. Maybe I missed it in another event. It kind of looks like you play like a singular Lego piece and you build stuff maybe and go on an adventure. I'm not really too sure. They announced Little Nightmares 3, October 10th, 2025. That's going to be great for Little Nightmares fans. I know a couple of them who are super excited for that. Persona 3 Reload coming out October 23rd. I know a lot of people are excited for that. A lot of people love the Persona games, so it'll be cool to have that also available on Switch. Then after that, the screen went black, and I thought, honestly, I was getting like a real ad in between the Direct. But no, they announced that the new Resident Evil Requiem is coming to Switch same day. That's honestly really impressive. Like, genuinely impressive that they're getting that same day, that it's not coming out on a delayed release. At least I don't think it is. They also announced Resident Evil Biohazard Gold Edition and another Resident Evil game also coming to Switch. I don't really know Resident Evil that much. Yeah, Resident Evil Village. So you got 2 Resident Evil games coming soon, February 27th, 2026. And then you have Resident Evil Requiem also coming out to Nintendo Switch too. So that'll be pretty cool. And then finally was the final announcement, which I saw this game for 4 milliseconds and immediately knew what it was. It is another new Fire Emblem game. And I say it like that because I gotta say, man, the Nintendo Switch has so many Fire Emblem games on it, and more are coming because of NSO Online. So they announced Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave, and the title seems whatever, but this definitely seems like a pretty cool game. I really got to get on the Fire Emblem franchise and start playing them. I've got a bunch on my backlog, and I'm hoping to start playing them. I was originally going to start playing them in September, but then Hollow Knight, so... but Fire Emblem's coming out 2026. I have a feeling this is going to be one of their big summer games, like late summer maybe midsummer, maybe next fall. Like it'll kind of creep into that September range when it's still technically summer for them. But yeah, that was everything they announced in the Nintendo Direct. And I got to say, in terms of like a real talk review, the Direct, in my opinion, was definitely like a D tier. I wouldn't give it an F tier. It wasn't the worst thing I ever saw, but the wind really got knocked out of my sails a lot because of the price tags of some of this stuff. Nintendo really needs to nail down their pricing. They've had an issue with pricing since mid-generation for the Nintendo Switch. And the Switch 2, I thought maybe they'd get a little bit better with that, pricing their remakes a certain way, their remasters a different way. But yeah, it's getting ridiculous, and I'm at the point now where I don't think Nintendo did what they needed to do, which was to prove to people why they need to buy a Switch 2 and why they should upgrade from 1 to 2. I think if you're out there and you love one of these games, go ahead and get a Switch 2. But if you're on the fence, my personal opinion is wait another year or two. Honestly, I think this time next year they're going to announce a lot of bangers in the next year's summer and next year's September Directs. But as of right now, it's not hitting, man. Even for me, someone who owns a Switch 2, I'm looking forward to a couple of these games. Obviously, I'm going to wait for physicals and all that stuff, but there's so much out there to play these days that if you've got something else to play, just go ahead and play that. The only reason to buy a Switch 2 now, if you already have a Switch 1, is because a lot of the games play better. And other than that, just wait. That's my take on it. So yeah, that is everything announced in the Nintendo Direct for September 12th, 2025. Go ahead and write down in the comments below what you graded this Direct. What did you like about it? What did you dislike about it? Again, there was a couple cool things, like that Virtual Boy thing is sick. The new Fire Emblem game does look cool. Monster Hunter Stories I'm super excited for, as well as a couple other little games that they announced here and there. Hopefully they get physicals. But like, for example, like Mario Galaxy, I'm not buying that shit. I've got a Wii. I've already got Mario Galaxy on the Wii. I just got to go and find Mario Galaxy 2, which I'm pretty sure I can get for $15, $20 maybe. So I'm just going to get it that way. Play it the original way. But hopefully, I am hoping that they bring Wii games to the NSO by the end of this console lifespan. But I don't know. I think after GameCube, I don't know if they'll do the Wii. They might start doing DS, 3DS games, or they'll do GameCube, then Wii, and then whatever the next system that they come out with will probably be like 2DS, 3DS, and have like a double screen kind of thing. But yeah, that was the Nintendo Direct. If you watched this whole video, thank you so much for watching. Go ahead and give it a like. If you like videos like this, gaming content and stuff like that, we do a little bit of gaming content here and there. I do pickups videos every month. I'm going to try to do more like reactionary stuff to some of these bigger events when I have got something to say, as well as trying to go through them line by line, because I feel like I watch a lot of YouTubers who go through these events and they'll skip around a lot and they'll be like, oh, they announced a bunch of garbage, sizzle reel, and then they just won't even talk about it. I want to go line by line with you and tell you what I like, what I don't like about this, and, you know, share the hype. I do think there were some cool announcements in this Direct, but unfortunately, it dragged pretty heavily. It was very long, and there was way too much DLC, and there wasn't enough like big hitters. You know what I mean? They needed like one or two big hitting teasers, and I feel like it was just kind of like giving us release dates for games we already knew about, which is fine because we needed that. But as of now, I think this is the last Direct of the year. I'd be surprised if they did another one. Oh, actually, no, they're going to do another one because they already announced they're going to do like another Kirby sit down and talk, which I don't know what the fuck he has else to say about that game. He literally told us everything about that Kirby Air Riders game, and they're going to sit that man down again for another 30, 40 minutes and make him talk about it. But other than that, and like specific game related directs, I think that's the last general direct of the year. And so I don't think I'll probably be doing another one of these kinds of videos until maybe if there's a PlayStation Direct that's cool or something like that. I don't really know. And then obviously the Game Awards. I'll try and go over all the announcements that whenever the Game Awards happen. But if you like this kind of content, go ahead and hit the subscribe button here on Nerd Crew. We try to do everything nerdy, so it's not just video games here. We do everything from reviews of board games, hopefully in the future, manga, hopefully in the future, video games, as well as just talking about other stuff and anything nerd culture related. Thanks again, everyone, for watching. Again, leave comments down below. Let me know what you liked, what you disliked, and if you agree or disagree with my grading. I think it was a D rating, unfortunately. Sometimes that's just how it goes. But thanks again for watching, and I'll catch you nerds next time.